Good evening, viewers, and welcome to our favorite TV show, The Living Room, on Equa Television International. We know you've been missing us, so today we're bringing you a full package again with our usual Auntie Namo, aka IB. IB, welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
And fresh. Toby Salau, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, viewers.
And wherever Professor Amaka is, I think she's waving you hello and saying she will join you again next week. We'll be looking at the topic friendship. And this is our third episode looking at friendship. I think you will agree with us that friendship is deeper than what we had initially rolled out. Last time we looked at being a friend yourself. We had defined friendship, then we said, what does it take to be a friend? And I know Toby did not listen to that episode, but I know he will talk to it. So if you don't mind, Ivy, can you just give a little of what we said it takes to be a friend for people who didn't watch the episode?
Okay, we said that to be a friend, you have to be sensitive to the needs of those you want to be friends with. You have to first work on yourself, not to seek to make people to be you, but to make yourself to be a friend by, being sensitive, being there for your friend, being able to maintain confidentiality. Your friends should be able to they should see you as a shoulder they can lean on when they are in trouble. You should be able to be there for them financially and spiritually and emotionally. You should be able to know when your friend is sad and when your friend is happy. It's not just, okay, he's my friend, and in 3 months, 4 months, you have not seen the person, and you still say he's my friend. That's not friendship. If someone is your friend, you should be able to check up on the person. Now, the phone has made it easier. You can call. How are you doing? How is your family doing? You can visit, learn to be part of their life. I remember Uncle Jerry saying that you are not just part of their life, you are part of their extended life too. You know their children, you know when their children are, that one of his friends, in, I think South Africa or somewhere, told him that his son is graduating. That if he wasn't busy then, he will fly there to go and be in the graduation. That's what it takes to be a friend.
It takes to be a friend. I was trying to look up a Bible verse that says, he who will have friends must show
make
himself
friendly.
a friend.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't too sure if it was a Bible passage or not, but I know Toby would know. Toby would know whether that's a Bible verse.
Lots of Bible passages on friendship. And it's interesting how the Bible even talks about friendship being even deeper than a brother. A friend that sticks closer than a brother. And you would think that, the ultimate kind of tie or kinship is brotherliness, okay, as it were, or the brotherhood, like we call it. But the Bible is even teaching that being friends is a deeper dimension of intimacy, of that having ties. So absolutely the Bible teaches that, and we're encouraged to have friends. But the Bible is also, careful about the kind of friends that we should have. Yes.
And I don't think it was mentioned, but it looks like God wants to be friends with us.
Yeah.
And maybe if we're not good friends with God, it's difficult to also be good friends to other people. I don't know.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Your vertical relationship is very, very important. When your vertical relationship is having issues, the horizontal would definitely have issues.
Absolutely.
You can't say that you're not. That's why the Bible was saying that if you cannot give food, you say you love God, and you cannot love your immediate neighbor. That's not love that you can see. So friends are people we can see, people we can be part of their lives, people we can visit when they are mourning, when they are rejoicing. We can attend their ceremonies. Those are our friends. People we can see. So if we want to be friends, we have to first work on our relationship with God. Because I think that God will teach us in our hearts how to show friendliness with other people. Yeah.
And also, even though that wasn't, it seems that friendship can be also multi-generational.
Yeah.
I was remembering with fondness, you know, a friend of my father's, even though my father had passed, that friend continued to be good to us because of my father's close relationship with him. So friendship can even be multi-generational if it is a good one. And I think we should try to inculcate that so that our children know who our friends are and what our friends will be there for them should the need arise. Today we want to look at another dimension. There is good friendship, but I think there's also bad friendship. And the Bible says that be careful. Bad company corrupts good morals, which means that if you're friends with people who corrupt your morals, then they are not good friends, I think. But now we've brought Toby, who is a friend to many people, including me.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Yes, of course.
And can we talk about what are the characteristics of what we shall say is bad friendship? Well, if I see this in a person, shouldn't I be careful? Shouldn't I be wary of that person? So can you talk to that a bit? Then IB, as usual, will add.
Yes, yes. I like the way she adds. You know, I think the first thing that comes to mind is when you see a person who is self-seeking, self-centered, that's a red flag.
But we're all self-centered. We're generally selfish.
Yes, I think we have a degree of it and a tendency to have that or to demonstrate that because we're human beings and we're still in this flesh, and that's why the issue we talked about, knowing God as the basis for being good friends, is very key. Because the more of God you know, and I don't just want us to talk about God in the general sense, because God is many things to many people. We're talking about knowing God the Father through His Son Jesus Christ, through the power of the Holy Spirit. Let's be specific. The more we become like Him, the less of ourselves we show. And we consider others better than ourselves. We want to give to others. We show love, and that's what love really is about. So it's not as if I should punish myself or I should kill myself just so you can live necessarily, even though the Bible also teaches that lays down his life for his friends, which Jesus did. So a person who is self-seeking and does that perpetually, you should know that that's a red flag. You are always the one giving. The person is only receiving like the Dead Sea, and you are not giving back. That's a red flag. A person who is competitive, that's a red flag. When the person hears that, oh, I'm doing my PhD, and the person, oh, I'm also about to start my PhD, and every time you say, oh, we just laid the foundation of our building, the person is also saying, oh, by this time next year, we're also planning to. There is competition, and that already raises concerns and questions. This person, is he really seeking for my good and my welfare, or this person is only, a person who talks down at you, always talking you down, always making you feel as though there's nothing good that can come out of you, or you always exalting your weakness rather than your strength. That is a red flag. A person who talks about you behind your back is not your friend.
But how will you know?
Because it gets back to you.
Usually it does.
It does you get to hear that somebody said something, and that's why if you really don't want people to know about a thing, then don't do it or don't say it, because it's going to come back. There's nothing really hidden under the sun. So those things come back. You get to hear that so person said something. Some people even give you like prayer requests. Let's pray for so and so. They are really going through trying times. Meanwhile, it's a gossip. It's just an opportunity to pass an information. And because we are human beings, we're in the flesh. When we exhibit characters of the flesh, it suits our flesh.
Yeah, that's right.
We seem to enjoy it. But unfortunately, we are damaging the character of the people we call our friends. We are damaging the character of others along the line. So these are, and there are several other indicators, you know, that when you see, you can tell that this is a bad. I give you an instance. I know someone many years ago who, every time she did good to this her friend, the person pays her back with evil. And she was careful to note over time that this was the case. So every time she did something good, whether, for instance, give the person a measure of grains or rice to say the person didn't have food at home or something, the person paid back in evil or with evil. And that's unfortunate. But you see, when you see those kind of things, you know that this person is not my friend. A person that cannot bring out the best in you, the person that cannot inspire you to become what God has called you to be or what God has designed you to be, is not your friend. A person that talks down on you, that doesn't really see anything good in you.
That's the second time you're mentioning it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we'll talk about talking down on people or people in general. But I just noticed that that's the second time you're saying it. So
Yes.
it's definitely a red
It's
flag.
a no-no.
Yeah.
Red flag.
It's a no-no. It's a no-no. And so you can tell whether this person really is for my good or not. Now, how do we know? Sometimes these incidences are isolated. You may not be able to draw a conclusion based on an isolated incident or instance, or where the person says something about you, for instance, to another person without telling you directly. But if it becomes perpetual, it happened once, it happened twice, 3 times, you can tell that this is a pattern.
Yeah.
And then you need to address it. I know that probably in the conversation we'll get to how to confront some. But these are, amidst others, are critical things that show or indicators by which a person I can know whether you are really my friend or not. You don't support my family, for instance. Or every time I talk about my spouse, you go as if you are not interested in the conversation. A person that does not inspire a married person to stay married is not your friend.
As if you listened last.
Yes,
Like
the
the
person
last
is not your
episode.
friend. That's how to know. So if you have a friend who keeps saying to you, look, just leave that man or just leave that woman. Now, that is, of course, apart from extreme cases of abuse and all, you don't risk your life. But a friend should inspire you to want to stay with your family, to want to take care of your children. So a friend that takes you out at odd hours, you have younger children, and you just say, don't worry, they'll be okay, let's just go hang out. You need to watch it.
Yeah.
Because you need to pay attention to your family, you need to spend time with your kids, and those are important ways to know, because some bad friendships are not apparent. They don't stare you in the face that this is a bad friendship or this is a bad friend. You know, they come very subtle, and that's what the devil does. He causes people to sin. It's not that he just makes us sin, he causes us to sin. What that means is that he introduces very little subtle dimensions of compromises.
Little by
Little. And before you know it, we're off our feet. A friend that tells you to cheat in an exam hall, a friend that tells you, oh, your friend is that person in the exam hall who is saying that I can help you. You know, we call it help.
We don't call it.
We don't call it cheating, we call it,
Yeah,
I will
he-
help
he-
you.
I'll help
You
you
say
to
that she's a good friend or he's a good friend. That's not your friend. Because in the exam hall, whatever is not in my head should not be in my book.
Thanks so much, Toby.
Yeah.
And I know that Ivy was agreeing with you totally. And even though you say that it's not always that we can recognize them, there's the adage that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So let's keep that in the back of our minds, because then the people that we associate most with, we're likely also going to be like them. So Ivy, he has raised quite a number of red flags, and I was thinking that, man, if we did this checklist, we shouldn't be in a lot of trouble.
That's
A lot
right.
of-
We
and,
shouldn't be in a
in
lot
fact,
of
a lot of
trouble.
friendship should be redefined if we do this checklist,
Okay.
because especially the young people, a friend who tells you to lie to your parents,
Uh-huh.
tell you, forget about your old man, forget about your old woman. Let's go, it's our time. Those are not friends. They make you stubborn or make you disobey your parents. They're not good. They are not your friend. Because at the end of the day, if you check, it's most times these friends are people who know that by you being rude or stubborn to your parents, they will get something from you. So it's not like they really like you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they still sit back and say, look at her, she doesn't even know what she's
Very
doing.
daft.
Let's tell her, if we do this now, you know we will get something from her or from him. And you go home and you are rude to your parents, the things your parents say you should not do, you do them, and you are daring your parents because your friends told you that it's our age. You have to look at your father in the face and talk. And such a friend, go to their house, he can't even stay where the father is. But he will come. And the same thing with married persons. A man that cannot talk at home to his wife will come and tell you that you are the one allowing that woman to ride you. Teach her a lesson. So why don't you ask him, how do you teach your own wife a lesson? Can I follow you home to see so that you will show me an example? He will come, he will never let you be in his house when his own wife is having issues with him. But he will always tell you, teach her a lesson. Somebody told his friend that his wife complained that he was following girls, age mates of his children. And he said, if I am the one, I will marry the girl. If she wants to die, let her die. And he actually went and married the girl. And that was the doom in his home. But that his friend, the home is still intact.
So that's mischievous.
Yes. So you have to be careful. You know, I tell people, I say, I listen to my friends. Not like I don't listen to them, but I weigh it. It's not everything you tell me that I take. And like he said, if they become consistent with a particular habit, you need to redefine that friendship. It's not really worth it.
And can I add that you need to be bold at redefining that friendship? Don't be afraid to let people go.
Yeah.
You know, a few years ago, I remember, you know, we deal with young people a lot. We have these ministries that we engage in. And a young lady reached out to me and said that she's in this relationship and she really can't leave the relationship. It's a love relationship with some guy. And she knows that she should not be in that relationship, but she cannot leave.
Why?
Okay, so every time she wants to leave, my brother is kneeling down, begging and crying and wailing and saying, oh, don't leave me. My life will be miserable. So she looks at her, oh, poor boy. She comes back.
Okay.
So when she told me on the
That's
last
manipulative.
episode, that's witchcraft.
It's witchcraft, actually, yeah.
So I said to her, you don't look him in the face. You make up your mind to end the relationship and you end it. It's a relationship. You got into it. You can get out of it.
Exactly.
So you need to take that step, and just like, you know, we've shared those red flags, you need to say to yourself that this person does not mean well for me based on XYZ reasons that I have observed, that I've experienced, that I have seen. I need to leave this relationship. I need to leave this friendship. Again, people must have accountability partners.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
You cannot run your life alone.
Exactly.
And this is where we want to encourage young people listening, especially. You need a mentor or mentors. You need a spiritual parent, you need a spiritual father, you need someone that you can look up to. And your spiritual parent or father or mother or whatever has to be someone that you can talk to, that can talk to you. And don't say, for instance, one popular man of God is my spiritual. No, it doesn't work that way. Yes, you can be blessed by them, but they cannot be your spiritual parents because they can't.
They don't even know you.
They don't even
They don't,
know you.
and without a personal knowledge, you cannot say that they
You
are
are
your
mentoring
parents.
someone.
So you can be blessed by them, but they cannot be your spiritual parents. You need people that you can take this kind of conversations to say, Daddy, see, I have this issue. Or bro, it doesn't even have to be such an elderly person. Someone who you respect in the faith, someone who is spiritually mature, that you believe has wisdom, godly wisdom that can give you counsel. You know, such a person can help you out to say, look, I have this challenge with this, my friend. she's not a bad person, no, but I just don't feel this friendship anymore. What do you think? Then that person sits you down and say, this is what
You
I
should
believe,
look
this
out
is what you should look out for. So we don't walk life alone.
Yeah.
And I know that, I mean, you both are ahead of me in terms of age and experience and exposure and family and all that. And you can tell that you don't walk through life alone.
Exactly.
You must work with people who have gone ahead. It's very,
course.
very, it's
Of
very,
course.
very significant
Of course.
in overcoming the challenges of bad relationships. And, you know, this topic is so important because people have ruined their lives because of bad friendships.
Because of friends.
ruin you.
They
Yeah.
ruin you.
Yeah.
They ruin you. They ruin your family. They ruin your career. They ruin everything around you. And unfortunately, sometimes they do better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
yeah.
And so we must all take this conversation of friends and friendships very, very seriously. What values do you hold dear? What are your values? Because your values influence the kind of friends you attract.
Okay, so let's pause there.
Yes.
Because you had mentioned the fact that if a friend talks down at you all the time, it's not a good friend.
It's not.
But you see, by veering into values, you're already talking about the values. But let's talk about this talking down to people. I know that our country's top 3 cultures are abusive in nature.
That's true.
They abuse your head, abuse your, and they think that it's not an
parents.
offense. They think it's not an offense. But I'm thinking seriously that friends say words of encouragement to one another, and they spur one another on,
That's right.
and they can definitely help you steer the course. So can you talk a bit again about talking down to people, because it looks like that is one of the most pervasive way that toxicity, let me use a big word, toxicity keeps going around.
That's right.
In fact,
And meanwhile,
in
the Bible
schools,
says that we
in-
should give everybody their due respect.
Yes, in schools, I am an advocate of, training and retraining for teachers. Teachers, because they don't know that what they say to these children
So
can
powerful.
destroy them for life.
So powerful.
As much as, look at your big head.
Aha.
A child can end his life because you said he has a big head. And some teachers don't think it is a problem. A child told me that everybody in my class called me short man. Even my teacher, they call me short man. That if I want to, they say, come live here, you this short man. And I don't want to go to that school again. And he cried. And I'm like, is it that these teachers don't know that this thing is affecting this child? And I said, okay, walk up to the teacher. And that he even walked up to the teacher and said, I don't like this name you are calling me. Before he finished saying, the teacher said, go away from here, you this short boy. It's the words we use, and sometimes we use these words with our friends. We call our friends derogatory names, and we think it is fun. Sometimes we think it's fun, but the person you use that name on, the person may go back inside and start crying.
Or they shrink.
And
Yes.
they go and
shrink.
yes.
They shrink.
So we should be very careful what we say to people. One of the things I have learned, I talk. I tell people that I talk a lot, but one of the things I have learned is not to use bad words on people.
That's right.
My students, I do not call you by a bad name. Oh, my friend, you look good today. And it's like sometimes they want to come and hear it. Because people want to
Because
come
they
and
hardly
hear.
even hear it anywhere.
People want to come and hear that you say they are looking good. They are, oh, your hair is fine. Somebody wants somebody to tell her that your dress is fine, your hair is fine. Instead of saying, what kind of dress is this one today? Hey, God forbid. No, please.
So I will pass, because it was his own. He kept saying, don't talk down to people. Don't talk down to people.
Yes.
Maybe we're assuming that the people are equal to one another, or some senior, some junior. But talk to that.
I thank you for that background again that you created. Very, very important. People need to be inspired by people they respect, by
Yeah.
people that they trust, by people that they look up to, especially friends. But when they get the opposite, then there's a problem. I believe that many people who are suicidal will not end up committing suicide if they got inspired otherwise.
Yeah.
But when you talk down on people and you make them feel less of themselves, then they shrink, like what you're saying. They withdraw. And you will notice, if you're a parent, that that boy in your house that you always talk down on, he has begun to withdraw.
Yes.
And he doesn't respond the way he used to. He's not just a quiet person. Is that there's a process already that you yourself created, initiated, activated, engineered. And he's going to destruction because of the words that you spoke. So talking down on people is so significant. People do it a lot, but it should not come from a friend.
Yeah.
And if you call yourself a friend, you should not talk down on the person. Instead, you should. The Bible teaches that we should use words that build up. That even if we're speaking truth, it should be said in grace, with grace.
Yeah.
You know, speaking the truth in love. That is what it is. So although the person may have misbehaved, let's even take it granted, the person misbehaved, he or she took a wrong decision, took a wrong turn, and did something awful. Something awful. There's a room to speak truth, but in love. Because at that point, such a one may already even be guilty. You know, the person already has a sense, a feeling of guilt. So when you use those derogatory words and you speak down the person, you are compounding an already existing problem. And it doesn't end well. So talking down on people is not even on the table. What you do is that you first of all respect that person for who they are. Number one, they're a human being.
Yeah.
Secondly, they are your friend.
Yeah.
So what you do is, how do I inspire this person? And you know, one of the things you said that is very significant as well is the issue of the culture. The culture of the day does not mind. They just say it mindlessly. And they don't expect you to take an offense because they believe you are part of the culture. You should understand. But not when friendship is involved. Not when someone has, not when it's a relationship of trust, it's a relationship of confidence, and you just break it by saying certain hurtful words and words that do not inspire, words that do not build confidence, words that do not repair. Those words tear you down. And so that's why for me it's a red flag, a major one. When someone, if a person buys you things, they give to you but talk down on you, it's worse. It's
Maybe the gifts are manipulative.
Maybe the gifts are manipulative. For instance, I know a woman who was in an abusive relationship, very, very abusive relationship with this military man. And for every time that he abuses her, he buys her ticket to Dubai. It's like a reward system.
Is it called
It's
Yes.
witchcraft.
Yes.
So
There's a technical name for it. Yes, there's a word for it.
Vaping or something.
Yes, yes.
They do bad.
And
then
then
they
you
compensate
do
with
good.
good.
They do
And
bad, they come
and they do good.
So it's very difficult for you to say this person is
Yes.
bad.
It's bad. So that's what happens a lot of time. But you see, whether they buy you gifts, they even visit you.
Oh, I just remember.
Or even,
They call it gaslighting.
oh, gaslighting.
I don't know why they use the word gaslighting, but you do something bad to the person, then you do a good one, then you go do the bad one. So it's difficult for them to reconcile.
So
the
what
two.
happened in that woman's case is that she became used to it. So she's abused. So it's more like she's looking forward to the abuse. She suffers pain. I mean, physical injuries. But she knows that next week I'm going to the UK. And she wasn't working. It was only the guy working. So it was manipulative and all of that. But I think the real point is this, that don't get it twisted. Don't get it mixed up in your mind. They could do other things for you. Once they talk down on you, it's not real. and don't fall for it.
And
It
don't
is-
take it
and
either.
don't take
Don't
it.
take it,
Don't
yeah.
take it.
Don't take it. Be bold to say no. Enough is enough. I would not be manipulated. I will not allow myself to go down this lane, because very soon a person that can talk down you can kill you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So viewers, you've been listening to what we've been talking about friendship. These are the telltale signs that this is not good friendship. And we had said earlier that you must show yourself to be a friend. But apart from showing yourself to be a friend, also recognize the person that I think we should run from. Because I don't have to be your friend. I don't have
It's
to
not
be your friend.
compulsory, yeah.
And one of the things that makes me know that this person is not a good friend is, are they willing to come to my family? Or is it a friendship that is always outside the confines of the people we know?
That's right.
And then, are they proud to introduce me to
To their
their
own
To their own
other
family.
circle of friends, you know? For me, they may be, I may be saying they are a very good friend, but to them, I'm just a friend. So can you see that the scale is not the same?
It's not the
But
same.
there are far more things. Like 2 weeks ago, you people were referring to the fact that sometimes the people are always taking and never giving.
Yes.
They are always taking, but they never give back. You know, so it's practically
They
one-sided.
take from you emotionally, psychologically,
Financially,
financially,
even spiritually, they
in
do.
fact, in the university, they come to your room whenever the food is ready. They eat your food, but you never know when they cook. They always come to your. They always know when your own food is ready. They'll come and eat, but you will never know when they cook. When you enter their room, do you have food? Where is the food? There's no food.
Which is
But
nice.
yes, but they will always come. Food. You will pack all your food and give them. They will eat. The next day you will see them. They will come and ransack your wardrobe and pick clothes. In fact, one man said the man came. He was fatter than him. He told him, my suit will not. He said, no, don't worry. He went and adjusted the suit. I mean, I don't understand it. I said, what kind of friendship is that? That is not a
That's
friend.
not friendship.
It's just a parasite. It's not a friend.
And I think that's important. That definition, beyond the English word friend or friendship, what constitutes that word? I think a lot of times we miss it. All right, an acquaintance is not your friend.
No, it's not your friend.
Someone, because you are classmates, does not mean they are your friends.
Yeah.
Because you are in the same church does not mean they are your friends. Because you work in the same place does not mean they are your friends. So I think it's also important to define it. Your roommate is not your friend.
Exactly.
And everybody does not have to be your friend. You just need that one person who you align with their values, they align with yours, you trust each other, there's confidence, and there is openness. You know, that is the kind of person that you can say is my. And you know, we meet friends along our life's journey at different points. Most times we meet them when we're in need. And that's important as well. When we're in need is when we meet friends. And so a person that stays with you through thick and thin, you can say, this is my friend.
This is my friend.
You know, you are on the hospital bed, that person, even though they are not there physically, you could tell that they are present. They are sending you messages, they tell you we are praying for you. And you actually know that they are praying for you. Those are people you can call friends. So at that junction where you need support the most, where you need attention the most, where you need help the most, where you need prayer the most, are they there? Sometimes our good friends are not even those we talk to every day on phone and we are all catching up. No, but there's that person, you know, that when I call Auntie Tessie, I know that she would ask how I'm doing. And the way she asks how I am doing, I know that she truly cares. That's a friend. I know that when I tell her that, Auntie Tessie, I cheated in the exam today and I feel so terrible, she will not say, hey, I knew it. The way you have been going, I knew you would fall. I knew that. She will say, oh, that's unfortunate. But you know, we talked about this, Otobio. But you can do better next time. That's a friend. They inspire, they make you feel like, I can achieve it, I can do it. So these are all signs. So I know that we are all appraising our friends list right now, and it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
Where I failed.
you know. So it's helpful when we have this insight, because it helps you to avoid a lot of pitfalls in the future. It just helps you to avoid unnecessary drama, and then you get the right counsel from the right people at the right time. There are certain friends that they are just so amazing. They come through for you.
Yeah.
And this has nothing to even do with money. They are just there to provide that kind of support that you need. And I want to say that sometimes people, that your friend that you are thinking about, that you think that every time they call you is just about money, forget it. Money is not everything. Some people just need, guy, how far? How are you? And I do it a lot, especially of late. As soon as the thought of a person comes to my mind, I call them. Sometimes I procrastinate, and I discover that those times, yes, regrettably, I should have called, I should have visited, and hear that either the person passed, like there was one like that happened, you know, too long ago. It was very painful because I passed by their house, and just the following day I heard that she had passed. You know, so when the thought of a person comes to your mind, it's not in vain, especially if you believe that you're connected with them genuinely. Check up on them, send a WhatsApp, send a text message, say, hi, how you doing? I'm praying for you. Or how you doing now? You know, depending on the relationship, just check up on someone. It may be the saving grace. I tell you that, you know, this show, we're broadcasting from Nigeria, and right now we're going through a lot as a nation.
We are.
A lot of economic crunch, a lot of hardship on people, and people are really going through a lot. Just this afternoon, my colleague and I were talking about someone who works in the guest house of my organization, and the lady is just shrinking every day, and the guy is so concerned. And when he called her to have a conversation, she does not even have food to eat.
That bad.
That bad. Their neighbor feeds them. She has a sick father and a sick son. All the siblings absconded. Now, that is one person. And that person will say, I have friends.
And
where are they? So we are going through a lot generally, and everybody is indeed going through a lot, but sometimes we are better off than others. Can we check up on people? Can you give an inspiring word? Can you say something? Can you send a text? Even as you're watching this show right now, can you just think about that person and say, hello, how are you doing? I just thought to, you know, check up on you. And you'll be amazed how far that will go. In fact, some of our audience may be getting a lot of feedback saying, it's been long, I've been expecting this kind of call. I've been expecting this kind of conversation.
I know the phone numbers are on the screen for you to call and ask questions, make comments. And you also know that we're being streamed on Facebook Live, so you can go to Facebook and leave comments. But I just wanted Toby, I respect Toby in terms of how he relates to a lot of friends. I think one of the things I think we should also watch out is when friends are too controlling.
Yes, yes.
They want to tell you what to do, where to go. And I don't know.
They don't even want you to keep other friends.
They don't want you to keep other friends.
You should just stick
It's a red
to
flag
them.
too.
Uh-huh.
It's a red flag because you don't, excuse me, you don't manipulate people. You don't control people. Even though many people, it's part of their, I don't know whether to call it personality. You know, we are fallen people. The Bible says in James that we all stumble. And that's powerful. That means that we are imperfect, we have our challenges, we have our weaknesses, and we all do.
Yeah.
To be fair, you know. So, but there are certain people that have not been able to overcome that challenge of being controlling. They want to control everybody, and they don't just do it to you if you take note. They want to control everybody around them. Most people are like that. They want to determine what you do, how you do it, when you do it. Those kind of people, you need to know your limits with them. There are, and it's a red flag, honestly, because if you are not a person with a strong personality that can say no, they will drag you down. They will take you places you never knew you could get to. And you know, I had to make that decision for myself when I was in year 1 at the university. I noticed that I had a lot of people around me, and they were like controlling. You know, they will say where we should go after classes. So I said to myself, no, I will not do that. I'm going to stand my ground. If I'm not interested in a conversation, I'm not interested in an event, I will not attend it. And it worked for me. Because, and I tell you that many people that go down went down not because they were bad people, but because they hung around bad friends who control them. The only person that should control you, quite frankly speaking, is the Holy Spirit. Not even your spouse, because your spouse can control you negatively.
Of course.
However, if your spouse is also subject to the Holy Spirit, then you know that that's the kind of control you need to be susceptible to. It's the kind of control you want to yield yourself to. So I agree with you totally. That's a red flag. It's a no-no. Nobody should have the power really to control you, because the moment that happens, you know, just like we've been talking about manipulation, it's spiritual. It's spiritual.
You know why I'm smiling?
Yeah. Please share.
You know we're on TV.
Yes.
But I think we need to make a distinction between controlling and yielding submission to one another. The Bible encourages us to submit to one another.
Yes.
But it doesn't encourage us to control one another.
No.
So when you were talking, I was smiling because I'm like, somebody out there is going to say, does it mean I should not submit? That's not what we're saying.
No, that's not what we're saying.
We're saying that don't let somebody dictate things about you 24/7 as though they are the Holy Spirit.
Exactly.
Or try to remake you.
Yes.
Try
Some
to
people
remake you.
try to remake you. No, you are not. You should dress like this. That's what fits
How you should look.
This is what you should look when you get out. Like we were discussing last week, Professor Amaka and myself, we agreed that we're the talking people. We love to talk. Yes, we love to talk. And I remember that some of my friends then, you talk too much, keep quiet. You talk too much, keep quiet. So I decided to keep quiet. Oh God.
And it won't fit you.
It was miserable. I could not. I was feeling like I was sick. I was just not myself. After a while, I say, I beg,
I can't
lose
do
this
anymore.
type and let me go.
Yes.
And she said the same thing too, that she tried it for 2 weeks. They were the most miserable weeks of her life. And so she stood up to herself to say, if you don't like my talking, shift.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
People are enjoying my talking. Me too, I don't like your keeping quiet. So don't allow people to remake you, to make you think that you are not good enough.
Yeah.
You are not good enough. You know, there are some people, like some friends like that, they make you feel that you are not good enough. They need to do something to you to make you good enough. Even in the secondary school, you know, when we were clerking students for science, arts, you know, there was one young boy, from his records and the way he is, he was clerked for the, is it social science or arts class? Then he went to the village and came back and just appeared in physics class.
Okay, what I mean is how then, because we're talking about friendship, how then one know a true friend? Because until you know a true friend, you may not, in one selection of friends, how can you know that this one is a true friend before you now pick him as a true friend?
Actually, you may not
Thank you so
know,
much for the question.
Yeah, you may not know from the beginning who people are until you start relating with them. It is during relationship you will know that this one
This
I can't
person is showing
continue with
certain
this. I need to
characters.
shift. From the beginning, some people present themselves very nicely, you know, and even when people go into marriages, sometimes some of them don't really know until they get in. But I know that there are some that you will see it from the beginning. But if you don't know and you're already a friend and things are happening, you should shift. You should tell the person, no, I can't go this path. I need to shift. Okay, back to my point.
No, before you go a little further, part of the things we look out for friends are also...
Good evening. Okay.
Welcome. Go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, welcome, man. Good evening, man.
Good evening. Go ahead and say your comment or your question.
Yeah, my question is that there is something really worry my life.
Uh-huh.
Because I have a girlfriend which we have been dating for a while now. And this, our relationship, I even, my people, I even went to their family, which I explained myself that I wanted to get married to her. So as I was speaking right now, seriously, I am into trouble because according to our tradition, all the money they ask me from king's property, I have already paid everything. But in my problem with the lady is that anytime that when this lady is coming to my place, even to visit, or when I go even to have a word with her, sometimes she will just she will put her phone into flight mode when she comes to my place. Or she cannot even allow me to touch her phone. So this thing I will keep on, I think this will not become problem between us because I keep on asking her, why? What is the reason that you don't want me to touch your phone? Or why is it that when you are coming to my place, you always put your phone on flight mode? This is, as I was speaking, seriously, this I don't know how we are going to end this. Because I went to their family, I explained both their sisters, some of my people that I know, I can even explain to them. I tell anyone. But this I was speaking to you right now, man, the thing don't work up. And up to now, even her phone, the passport that she's using on phone, if she know that, if she understand that I have already know that password, she will change it. Put the one that I can really touch their phone. I don't know how to solve this issue, my please. I need these people help. How would I do it?
I wish it was something else we'll talk about except phone. And that can be a good red flag. But I will let my people talk to it. Then I will talk to you from the point of view of my field, which is the field of human resource management.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that?
Thank you, our friend from Taraba. The first thing is to say again that trust is a bedrock of every relationship of friendship. Without trust, forget it. There's no relationship, there's no friendship. And so, do you trust her? And from what you are sharing with us, trust seems to be
a very big
be a big deal in that relationship. I don't think anybody on this show will say go ahead or don't go ahead. It's your decision to make. But it's important for you to really reflect and think about if this continues even after we are married, can I handle it? Because I assure you that whatever you see in this courtship,
it's going to double.
You are
It's
going to
1%.
get it. Yes,
Yeah,
100
it's going to
fold.
double,
You know,
yes, in
100 fold.
marriage.
You see it in marriage. Don't be deceived that it will change or it will improve. Things can change, but you see, you are not God, so you can't vouch for anybody. And so, I would encourage you to take it easy. Don't take a decision in a rush. Seek additional counsel, like what we've been talking about. You know, from your mentors, your spiritual parents. Let them also talk into this, and particularly pray. You see, sometimes when we talk about prayer, people think it sounds like a cliche right now.
Not a cliche.
You know, just pray. No, we're saying that prayer works.
It does.
We're saying that prayer has the potential and capacity to communicate to you what is on the heart of God. And if you do not seek God and you go into this kind of a lifelong relationship, there are chances that you can make mistakes. So we're also saying, so seek counsel, pray, be patient, don't be in a hurry. Time does not change anything, but time reveals. So time can reveal to you whether she's for real or not. But the moment a person has a thing or two to hide, then you need to be wary of that person. It's not a person you want to take to the altar. Maybe not right now.
Not now.
I want to balance it also. To say
I like the
that,
balance
yes,
part.
to say that don't go looking for information on her phone, because that's also a problem. Don't seek to want to check her phone. You don't need to do that. You put yourself on the edge, and you would not be open in such a relationship.
Then you will be part of the controlling people.
You will be
that
part of the controlling people,
we're talking
and you will give her cause not to trust you, because it goes, trust is both ways. So don't seek to want to check her phone. For instance, I don't just derive pleasure in picking my wife's phone. I want to check, I want to unlock it, I want to check. Most people that do that are controlling people, or people that are suspicious of certain things going on. And believe you me, it's okay to be suspicious if you have a cause to be. But don't just go around suspecting your wife to be, or your spouse to be, or your girlfriend, or even your wife, for our listeners who are viewers who are married. I think that that's the balance for me. So that so we're not saying check her phone. Don't be all out trying to know who she spoke with last minute or who she sent a text to. No. And you know, it also goes to a foundation. Did she just start these things, or has it always been there? You see, because if you, it's like someone praying that God give me a godly wife. Then you go to the club and you saw a girl, then you asked her out. You want to marry her, then you want her to behave like a church girl or a sister.
And you met her at the club.
And you met her at the club. There is already a problem. And so, what's the foundation of that relationship? Has she always been like that? Is this how you met her? Where did you meet her? What has been going on? Are you pursuing content of character, or you are pursuing container? Because if I like the container, that's the body, the shape. And I downplay the content,
which is the character.
Which is the character. When it matters most, that container will not be the issue anymore. Exactly. It will not be the character, but it will not be as if she just began to do it. Meanwhile, she had always been like that. So all of these things interplay, and they influence how we take decisions. So just to keep encouraging you, please keep praying, and we believe that the Lord will lead you to take the right decision.
Although, Mr. My brother from Taraba, from my field, which is called human resource management, we believe that every individual is created in God's image, and those people have rights.
That's right.
One of the fundamental rights God has given every individual is the right to privacy.
That's right.
They have a right to their lives. They have a right to have a say over their lives. It's a God-given right. When I'm in a relationship with a person, I do not yield those rights. I respect his rights. He also respects my rights. And one of the things about friendship, which maybe we should talk about, is the fact that when you truly value a person, you give them space. You allow them to be who they are. You allow them to even have friends of their own. And I think at this point, you should concentrate on learning more about this person. Who is she? What does she like?
Communication.
How does she
let's
work?
talk. What is
important to her? And let her also concentrate on knowing you. But honest, we have no business
telling you
checking on people's phones and all those things. That is invasion of privacy.
No, you are right. You are right.
But in a healthy relationship, like Toby has said, we're not withholding the information. We're not withholding the phones. But you don't go checking behind them whether they have changed their password or not, and all of that.
What exactly is he looking for?
Okay. So what are you looking for?
What is he looking for in her phone? Is it that she kept her phone and he just wanted to pick it, maybe to make a call, and she came and grabbed it from him because she doesn't want him to have it?
He says whenever they go to the village, she puts her phone on flight mode.
Or he just wanted, he just said, give me your phone. And he said, no, I can't give you my phone, and you have a problem with that. I think you people should talk. Sit down and talk. Have a conversation. Why is it that you don't ever want me to touch your phone? Is there anything you're hiding, or is just that you don't like people touching you? Let her talk to you, and from the way she talks, you will know what exactly the problem is. And what other problem are you having with her apart from this phone? Because if the phone is the only problem, I think that you need to talk about it. Instead of, making a fuse, talk about it and find a level playing ground. But, if there are other issues and you are just using the phone as one to get...
Well, we heard only one side of the story. He said she doesn't let him
touch her phone. She changes the password.
He didn't tell us whether he lets
her touch his phone. That's what I'm saying. Communication is important. They need to talk.
So talk about it.
Talk about it. Nobody is going to tell you, leave him, leave her. No.
Viewers, well, time has done it again.
Yeah.
We have come to the end of today's episode, and it looks like we didn't touch everything, but we hope that our little conversations have been helpful to you.
Yeah. That's
right.
Remember to pray for Equa TV. Remember to support Equa TV, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.